Hi students, today we are going to do the poem Dust of Snow written by Robert Frost. Let's go through the learning objective of this poem. To appreciate the beauty, rhyme and style of the poem, to understand the thought and imagination contained in the poem, to think about different human emotions and their effects. The theme of the poem is communication between nature and humans, nature healing and helping with negative human emotions, the significance of small natural events. Here are the key points of the poem. The poet talks about the unimaginable healing power our nature has. It can change or cure any type of mood. The poem describes a very simple happening in very simple words. It tells us that sometimes even a small incident may prove to be of a larger significance. The poet is upset in the beginning of the poem, but a small incident of falling of snow changes his mood totally. In the end of the poem, the poet feels relaxed and thankful to the nature for saving his day from being wasted. Let's go through the setting of the poem. There's a man under a tree. It's probably winter. There's snow on the tree, an evergreen pine tree called a hemlock. Hemlock is basically a poisonous tree bearing white flowers. And a crow has happened to send some snow dust down the man. Whether it falls to his head or down his neck is unknown. What is important is the way that crow makes it happen. But once again, the reader is left to imagine the bird's specific action. In the first stanza, the poet writes, "The way a crow shook down on me the dust of snow from a hemlock tree." Here, the dust of snow means fine particles of snow or act of dusting. The hemlock tree here means a poisonous tree with small white flowers. The poet is upset and sitting under the hemlock tree, that is the poisonous tree. Suddenly, a crow sitting on the tree shakes the tree, and the fine particles of snow from the tree fall on the poet. Whether it falls on his head or shoulders is unknown, as there is no specific mention in the poem. Here, the readers are left in doubt about the bird's specific action, whether the crow was landing, shivering with cold, readjusting itself on the branch, or taking off. It happened to send some particles of snow upon the speaker. The two agents of nature, the hemlock tree and the crow, are signifiers of sadness and gloom, just like the poet's mood was in the opening scene. In the next stanza, the poet says, "Has given my heart a change of mood and saved some part of a day I had rued." Here, the word rued means regret of or repent of. For reasons unknown, the speaker was having a terrible day. The soft and cold touch of snow changes the poet's mood from sad to happy. He seems to be pacified and refreshed. In this way, a simple moment proves to be very significant and saves rest of the day of poet from being wasted and held in regret. The falling of snow on his head lifted his mood instantly. He had already spent his day in a bad mood, but the rest of it was saved by the crow and the hemlock tree. Generally, hemlock tree and crow are used for negative references, but the poet used them beautifully to portray that inauspicious things can bring joy and happiness too. So, one must not take things for granted and should be open and accept whichever way the nature chooses to bless us. Let's go through the literary devices in the poem. Rhyme scheme is ABAB, CD. The other literary device is alliteration. The occurrence of same letter or sound at the beginning of adjacent or closely connected words. For example, has given my heart. Here, the letter H is being repeated in has and heart. Next, and saved some part. Here, the letter S is being repeated in saved and some. Next comes assonance. The prominence of vowel sound throughout a line is called assonance. Example, shook down on me. Here, O sound is prominent. Other literary device is enjambment. When the same sentence continues to the next line without the use of any punctuation mark, it is called enjambment. Well, it has been used throughout the poem. The message we get from the poem is finding positivity in negative things. Nature helps to get over negative human emotions. So, one must not take things for granted and should be open and accept whichever way the nature chooses to bless us.